Canada has long been seen as one of the most desirable countries in the world. For many, it embodies safety, stability, and opportunity, a place where life seems easier, more comfortable, and fair. But why does it have this reputation, and what makes it so appealing to millions of immigrants every year? To understand why Canada appears to be a dream country, we need to look at several factors: safety, quality of life, social benefits, education, healthcare, and its multicultural society. Safety and low crime rates. One of the biggest reasons people view Canada as a dream destination is its reputation for safety. Compared to many countries in the world, Canada consistently ranks as one of the safest places to live. Violent crime rates are relatively low, especially in smaller towns and rural areas. Even major cities like Toronto and Vancouver are considered far safer than other global metropolises. Streets are generally safe to walk at night, public spaces are well maintained, and law enforcement is professional and accessible. For families, safety is a huge factor. Parents moving to Canada often highlight the ability to let children play outside, walk to school, or take public transport with minimal fear of violence. The perception of safety also extends to political stability. Canada is a peaceful country with no recent history of political unrest or internal conflict, which is reassuring for people coming from regions affected by war, corruption, or instability. High quality of life. Canada frequently ranks at the top of global quality of life indexes. Residents enjoy clean air, access to nature, and cities designed for comfort and accessibility. Parks, lakes, and green spaces are abundant. Infrastructure, roads, public transit, hospitals, schools, is generally reliable and maintained to high standards. This sense of stability and infrastructure quality makes life smoother and less stressful compared to countries with overcrowded cities or weak services. For many, the dream of Canada is about balance, a life where work, family, and leisure can coexist without constant fear or chaos. The country offers opportunities for outdoor activities, cultural engagement, and personal growth, all within a framework of safety and organization. Social benefits and healthcare. Another major factor contributing to Canada's dream country image is its social support system. Canada offers universal healthcare for residents, meaning that basic medical services are free at the point of use. While not without flaws, this system drastically reduces the financial stress of unexpected illnesses or injuries compared to countries without universal care. Families moving to Canada often cite the comfort of knowing their children can see a doctor when needed without fear of enormous bills. Beyond healthcare, Canada provides other social benefits, including parental leave, unemployment insurance, and support programs for families in need. For newcomers, the idea of a government that helps citizens during difficult times adds to the perception of Canada as a safe and supportive environment. Education and opportunities for children. Education is another cornerstone of Canada's dream image. Public schools are free, generally well-equipped, and provide opportunities for children to develop academically and socially. Canadian universities also enjoy international recognition, and there are scholarships and programs for both domestic and international students. For parents, moving to Canada often represents giving children a better chance at the future. The idea that their kids can grow up in a safe, educated, and supportive environment is a powerful motivator. Even when immigrants struggle in other areas, the opportunity to provide children with quality education often outweighs short-term difficulties. Multiculturalism and inclusivity. Canada's multiculturalism is another key factor shaping its dream country reputation. Unlike countries with strict assimilation policies or pervasive discrimination, Canada officially promotes diversity and inclusivity. Cities like Toronto and Vancouver are home to communities from virtually every corner of the globe. Ethnic neighborhoods, international markets, and cultural festivals make newcomers feel welcomed. For immigrants, this multicultural environment reduces the shock of relocating to a new country. There are communities where people speak the same language, share familiar cultural traditions, and offer social support. Feeling accepted, or at least respected, within a larger society helps maintain mental health and facilitates adaptation, making Canada feel more like a home than other destinations might. Employment opportunities and economic stability. Canada's economy is generally stable, and there are jobs in a variety of industries, from healthcare and technology to construction and services. While competition exists, especially in major cities, many immigrants believe that if they work hard, they can achieve financial stability more easily than in their home countries. Even entry-level jobs are often seen as stepping stones to better positions or entrepreneurship opportunities. For many, the perception of economic opportunity is intertwined with safety and social support. The belief that hard work will be rewarded, combined with a system that offers some protection from financial disaster, reinforces the dream of Canada. Nature, space, and lifestyle. Canada's geography also contributes to its dream country image. Vast forests, mountains, lakes, and national parks offer residents access to nature like few other countries. Outdoor activities, hiking, skiing, canoeing, camping, are part of everyday life for many Canadians. The space, fresh air, and connection to the natural world contrast sharply with crowded cities in other countries. For immigrants, especially those coming from highly urbanized or polluted environments, this access to nature feels like a luxury. It adds to the sense that life in Canada is not only safe and stable but also beautiful and fulfilling. Media, movies, and cultural image. Finally, Canada's image is reinforced by media and popular culture. Movies, TV shows, and social media often depict Canada as a friendly, orderly, and prosperous nation. Stories about successful immigrants, beautiful cities, and scenic landscapes contribute to a perception that Canada is the ultimate destination for anyone seeking a better life. Even official immigration campaigns paint Canada as a welcoming land of opportunity. These messages resonate globally, creating a dreamlike image that influences people's decisions to move.
Summary.
In short, Canada seems like a dream country because it promises safety, stability, opportunity, and a high quality of life. It offers universal health care, a good education system, multicultural acceptance, and access to breathtaking nature. Economic stability, combined with social support, creates an environment where many believe their efforts will be rewarded. But as enticing as this image is, it often contrasts with reality. High living costs, housing shortages, long winters, cultural adjustment, and social isolation are realities that newcomers face. The idea of Canada as a dream is shaped by expectations and media, which only show part of the story. One of the main reasons people believe Canada is a dream country is the promise of high salaries and financial stability. On paper, Canada offers relatively high wages, a strong economy, and a social system that can cushion hard times. However, the real financial situation is much more nuanced. Let's start with salaries. The average annual income depends heavily on the region and the type of work. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, a typical income for a full-time worker ranges between 50 and 60,000 Canadian dollars per year. In smaller cities or rural areas, average salaries are lower, around $35,000 to $45,000. Highly skilled professionals such as software engineers, healthcare workers, or finance specialists often earn significantly more, sometimes exceeding $80,000 to $100,000 annually. But entry-level positions in retail, food service, or administrative work usually pay around $15 to $16 per hour. For newcomers, this creates a significant gap between expectation and reality. Many immigrants arrive with advanced education and work experience, but they initially take lower-paying jobs due to language barriers, unrecognized credentials, or lack of Canadian experience. The dream of immediate financial comfort is often delayed, sometimes for several years. Taxes also play a big role in shaping the real financial picture. Canada has relatively high taxes, which fund healthcare, education, and social benefits. Federal income tax rates start at 15% and rise to 33% depending on income. Provinces add their own taxes. For example, in Ontario, provincial income tax ranges from about 5% to 13%, while in British Columbia it ranges from 5 to 20%. Combined, someone earning $50,000 a year may pay around 25 to 30% of their income in taxes, not including contributions for employment insurance or pension plans. While these taxes support public services, they also significantly reduce take-home pay, which can surprise many newcomers. Next, let's look at living expenses. In major cities like Toronto or Vancouver, a one-bedroom apartment in the city center can cost around 2,000 Canadian dollars per month. Utilities and internet may add about $150 more. Groceries for a single adult average about $350 each month, and transportation, whether public transit or fuel, adds roughly $150. Health-related expenses such as prescriptions or supplementary insurance might be another $50 monthly, and miscellaneous costs like clothing, personal items, or occasional outings can total around $300. All of this adds up to approximately $3,000 per month, leaving only a small portion of the salary for savings or unexpected expenses. Housing is one of the most significant challenges. Canada faces a shortage of affordable housing, especially in large cities. Long wait lists, competitive rental markets, and high prices make finding a suitable apartment stressful. Many newcomers end up sharing apartments or renting rooms to reduce costs. Buying property is even more difficult. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, the average price of a home exceeds $1 million, far beyond the reach of most newcomers without substantial savings. Smaller cities or suburban areas are more affordable, but commuting and lifestyle adjustments present additional challenges. To illustrate, consider the experience of some immigrants. Anna, a nurse from Eastern Europe, arrived in Canada with 5 years of experience. Initially, she worked as a care aide for $22 an hour while waiting to obtain her Canadian license. It took 2 years before she could work as a registered nurse, earning $45 an hour. Mohammed, a software engineer from South Asia, struggled for 6 months to find a tech job and worked a $20 an hour contract job just to survive while networking and gaining local experience. Eventually, he secured a position with a salary of $70,000 per year. Luis, a construction worker, earns $25 an hour, which covers rent and bills but leaves very little room for saving or emergencies. Unexpected expenses, like car repairs or healthcare not fully covered by provincial insurance, can create stress. Balancing salary with expenses is a daily challenge. For many single earners in Toronto, earning $50,000 annually, a typical month might include rent for a one-bedroom apartment at $2,000, utilities and internet around $150, groceries at $350, transportation about $150, health-related costs $50, and miscellaneous expenses around $300. After paying for all necessities, only a small portion remains for leisure, saving, or unexpected costs. Families face even tighter budgets, and many need roommates, multiple jobs, or relocation to smaller towns to make ends meet. Hidden costs also surprise newcomers. While basic healthcare is free, dental, vision, and prescription medication often require private insurance. Moving into a new country usually means buying furniture, appliances, and other household necessities. Winter clothing and heating can add hundreds of dollars per month, especially in provinces with long, cold winters. Car ownership is another hidden cost. Fuel, insurance, parking, and maintenance add up quickly. In short, Canada's financial appeal is real but nuanced. Salaries are often higher than in many other countries, but taxes, living costs, housing challenges, and hidden expenses frequently offset these advantages. Immigrants usually need to work harder than expected, sometimes in jobs below their qualifications, just to cover basic living expenses. The dream of Canada as a land of easy prosperity is compelling, but the path to financial stability is rarely immediate. Realistic expectations, careful budgeting, and patience are essential for anyone planning to move. The opportunities exist, but they require effort, adaptation, and persistence. When people imagine moving to Canada, they often picture a spacious, clean apartment in a safe neighborhood, with plenty of natural light and easy access to shops, parks, and public transport. While this is possible, the reality of housing in Canada is more complicated, and it often comes as a surprise to newcomers. One of the biggest challenges is affordability. Housing costs in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver are extremely high. Renting a one-bedroom apartment in the city center can cost around 2,000 Canadian dollars per month, while a similar apartment in smaller cities like Winnipeg or Halifax might be closer to $900 to $1,300. Even when salaries are higher in major cities, the combination of rent, utilities, and daily expenses leaves little room for savings. Many newcomers end up sharing apartments with roommates, sometimes 2 or 3 people per unit, to reduce costs. Buying a home is even more difficult. The average price of a house in Toronto and Vancouver exceeds $1 million, far beyond the reach of most new immigrants. In addition to the high purchase price, there are taxes, legal fees, and maintenance costs. For families, this often means postponing the dream of homeownership for years, renting smaller or more distant properties while saving as much as possible. Some immigrants move to smaller towns or suburbs where housing is cheaper, but then face longer commutes, fewer amenities, and a different lifestyle than what they imagined. The quality of housing can also be a concern. Older buildings in cities may have outdated heating systems, noisy neighbors, or maintenance problems. Landlords are generally responsive, but waiting for repairs can be frustrating. In newer buildings, apartments are modern and comfortable, but prices are significantly higher. Many newcomers learn quickly that finding affordable, quality housing requires research, patience, and sometimes compromise. Another challenge is the competitive rental market. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, apartments can be rented within hours of being listed. Multiple applicants compete for the same unit, often providing proof of income, references, and even a cosigner. This can be intimidating for newcomers who lack Canadian credit history or local references. It is not uncommon for families to visit several apartments before finding one they can afford and actually rent. Daily life in Canadian housing is shaped by these factors. Many newcomers live in high-rise apartment buildings in the city, where access to nature is limited. Parks and green spaces are usually a short walk or public transit ride away, but they may not be part of the immediate living environment. In smaller cities or suburban areas, apartments may be larger and include yards, but public transport can be less frequent, requiring a car for commuting. Utilities and internet are another aspect of daily life that newcomers must navigate. Monthly bills for electricity, heating, water, and internet can range from $100 to $300, depending on the size of the apartment and usage. Winter months can bring higher heating costs, especially in provinces like Ontario, Quebec, or Alberta, where cold temperatures persist for several months. This is a hidden cost that surprises many newcomers who underestimate the impact of long winters on utility bills. Neighborhood selection also plays a major role in the quality of life. Some neighborhoods are safe and well-maintained, but extremely expensive. Others are more affordable but farther from workplaces, schools, and amenities. Immigrants quickly learn that compromise is often necessary. You can have affordability or proximity, but rarely both. Choosing the right neighborhood involves careful research, visiting multiple areas, and talking to locals about safety, schools, and convenience. For newcomers, housing is not just about space and comfort, it's also about integration. Living in multicultural neighborhoods can make social adaptation easier, offering support networks of people who speak the same language or share similar cultural backgrounds. In contrast, living in areas where there are few immigrants or language barriers can create isolation and make adjustment more challenging. A common experience for many newcomers is starting small. Renting a shared apartment, a basement suite, or a small studio is often the first step while they find jobs and become familiar with the city. Over time, as financial stability increases, families may move to larger apartments or houses closer to work and schools. This gradual transition helps manage expenses and reduces the stress of entering an unfamiliar housing market. Daily routines are shaped by these housing conditions. Long commutes, high rent, and shared spaces affect the amount of free time, the ability to entertain friends, and even mental well-being. Many immigrants talk about feeling crowded or lacking personal space in shared apartments, while others appreciate the financial savings that make it possible to survive in expensive cities. Winter weather is another factor affecting housing and daily life. Snow removal, heating, and winter clothing are constant considerations. Apartments without proper insulation can feel cold, and newcomers quickly realize that living comfortably requires understanding local construction standards, heating systems, and energy usage. Finally, the search for permanent housing can be long and stressful. Even after renting an apartment, newcomers face challenges like renewing leases, negotiating rent increases, and dealing with maintenance issues. Some landlords require a Canadian credit history or proof of stable employment, which can be difficult for those who have just arrived. Many immigrants rely on local community organizations or friends to navigate the system and find trustworthy housing options. In summary, housing in Canada is a mixture of opportunity and challenge. While the country offers clean, safe, and well-maintained apartments, the combination of high costs, competition, and hidden expenses makes the process demanding, especially for newcomers. Many immigrants start with small, shared apartments and gradually transition to larger homes as financial stability improves. Understanding the realities of the housing market is essential for anyone considering life in Canada, as it shapes daily life, financial security, and overall well-being. In the next part of this series, we will explore employment, career opportunities, and work-life balance in Canada, focusing on how newcomers find jobs, navigate professional challenges, and pursue long-term financial security. One of the most important aspects of life in Canada, and a major reason why many people view it as a dream country, is the job market and career opportunities. Canada's economy is generally stable, and there are positions in a wide variety of industries, ranging from healthcare and technology to construction, service, and retail. However, the reality of finding a job and building a career in Canada can be very different from the expectations many newcomers have. Employment opportunities for immigrants. Many immigrants arrive in Canada with advanced education and professional experience, but it is common to face challenges when entering the job market. Employers often require Canadian experience or certification that validates foreign qualifications. For example, doctors, nurses, and engineers must go through licensing processes that can take months or even years. During this time, newcomers frequently accept lower-paying jobs or positions outside their field just to cover living expenses. Even in sectors like technology, newcomers may struggle at first. Job postings often list requirements such as Canadian work experience or knowledge of local industry standards, which can make it difficult for recent immigrants to compete with local candidates. Networking, internships, or volunteer work become essential stepping stones to secure positions that match their skills and education. Wages and work conditions. Salary levels in Canada vary widely depending on industry, location, and experience. Entry-level positions in service or retail pay around $15 per hour, while specialized professionals such as software developers, healthcare workers, and engineers can earn from $60,000 to $100,000 annually. While these numbers appear attractive on paper, they must be considered in the context of living costs, taxes, and housing expenses, which are often higher in the cities where these jobs are available. Work conditions in Canada are generally fair. Employees receive statutory vacation time, sick leave, and public holidays. Employment standards protect workers from unfair dismissal, and labor laws ensure minimum wage, safe working environments, and equal treatment. However, newcomers may initially struggle with adapting to these standards, workplace culture, and communication expectations, especially if they're used to different professional norms in their home countries. Career growth and opportunities. Canada offers real opportunities for career growth, but success rarely comes immediately. Many newcomers describe the first few years as a period of adjustment and compromise. For example, a nurse from Europe might initially work as a care aide or in administrative roles while completing licensing exams. A software engineer might take a contract or temporary position before securing a full-time role in their field. This transition period can be frustrating, but is often necessary to gain Canadian experience, build local networks, and understand workplace culture. Long-term career growth in Canada is possible for those who are patient and persistent. Many immigrants eventually reach salaries and positions that reflect their skills, experience, and education. Networking, continuous learning, and flexibility are essential strategies for advancement. In addition, bilingual skills, especially in English and French, can open doors in certain provinces, particularly Quebec, where French is the primary language of business. Work-life balance. One aspect of working in Canada that surprises many newcomers is the emphasis on work-life balance. Unlike some countries where long hours are the norm, Canadian workplaces generally respect boundaries. Full-time employees typically work 37 to 40 hours per week, and overtime is either compensated or limited. Paid vacation, parental leave, and sick days are standard, creating an environment where it is possible to balance career, family, and personal interests. However, balancing work and life can still be challenging in cities with high living costs. Commuting long distances to more affordable suburbs, managing multiple jobs, or working shift schedules in healthcare or service industries can create stress. Adapting to Canadian work culture often requires newcomers to manage time efficiently and make strategic decisions about housing, transportation, and career choices. Challenges for immigrant workers. Immigrant workers often face unique challenges. Language barriers, cultural differences, and discrimination can limit opportunities or slow career advancement. Even highly qualified professionals may experience underemployment, where their education or experience is not fully utilized. These obstacles can affect self-esteem, financial security, and overall satisfaction with life in Canada. Despite these challenges, many immigrants report that their long-term career prospects improve with persistence. Volunteering, internships, and professional associations are common strategies to gain Canadian experience, build networks, and improve employment opportunities. Learning about the local job market, understanding workplace norms, and continually improving language skills are crucial steps toward achieving professional success. Real-life examples. Consider a few real-life scenarios. Anna, a nurse from Eastern Europe, initially worked as a care aide while completing licensing exams. After 2 years, she became a registered nurse with a significantly higher salary and more stable work hours. Mohammed, a software engineer, started with a temporary contract position earning $20 per hour while learning about the local industry. Within a year, he secured a permanent job earning $70,000 annually. Luis, a construction worker, initially faced uncertainty and irregular work schedules. By building connections and gaining Canadian certifications, he now has a steady position and opportunities for overtime and promotion. These examples show that while Canada offers opportunities, the path to financial stability and career satisfaction often requires patience, adaptability, and hard work. Conclusion: work and career reality. Canada's job market is a mix of opportunity and challenge. High-skilled professionals and dedicated workers can find rewarding careers, but newcomers should not expect immediate success. Patience, strategic planning, networking, and sometimes temporary compromise are essential. The dream of Canada as a land of easy prosperity exists, but like other aspects of life, success requires effort, preparation, and realistic expectations. The combination of fair work conditions, opportunities for advancement, and legal protections makes it possible to build a stable and fulfilling career, but it is rarely simple or instantaneous. Life in Canada is not only about jobs, housing, or money. One of the most important aspects of living in a new country is social integration, culture, and daily interactions with people. Canada is often praised for its friendliness and multiculturalism, but for newcomers, the reality of building a social life can be surprisingly complex. Multicultural society. Canada officially promotes multiculturalism, which is reflected in its policies, education, and public messaging. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal are home to people from virtually every country in the world. It is common to find neighborhoods with diverse ethnic communities, international markets, cultural festivals, and social organizations that support newcomers. This multicultural environment makes it easier for immigrants to find a sense of belonging. There are communities where people speak the same language, share familiar customs, and can provide social support. For many newcomers, this is a comforting safety net, reducing the initial shock of moving to a completely new country. The Canadian manner, politeness, and distance. However, Canadian social culture has its subtleties. Canadians are famously polite, but politeness often comes with social distance. It is common for strangers to smile or say hello, but deeper friendships may take time to develop. Canadians value personal space and may avoid excessive small talk or personal questions with people they do not know well. For immigrants coming from cultures where social interaction is more open or expressive, this can feel cold or distant. Many newcomers report feeling lonely during the first months, despite living in a bustling city surrounded by people. Understanding these social norms is essential to avoid frustration and to adapt successfully. Building friendships. Building real friendships in Canada often requires initiative and patience. Social connections usually form through work, school, volunteering, community organizations, or hobbies. It is common to start with casual acquaintances and gradually develop closer relationships. Networking is not only a professional tool but also a key to finding social support, shared activities, and integration into local life. Immigrants often face challenges in making friends if they live in neighborhoods with few other newcomers or if they do not speak English or French fluently. Joining cultural associations, hobby clubs, or sports teams can accelerate the process of finding a community. Community and support networks. Community is an important aspect of social life in Canada. Local organizations, religious groups, and immigrant support services provide assistance with housing, employment, legal advice, and social integration. These networks are invaluable for newcomers navigating a new country, and they often become a substitute for family and friends left behind. Despite this, some immigrants experience isolation, particularly in smaller towns or rural areas where the population is less diverse. Social events, casual gatherings, and multicultural activities may be rare, making it harder to establish meaningful connections. Daily social life. For many newcomers, daily life involves balancing work, commuting, and trying to engage socially. In major cities, people often spend a significant portion of their day commuting, working, and managing household responsibilities. This leaves limited time for socializing, which can intensify feelings of isolation. Even when friends are made, social life in Canada is often less frequent than in other cultures. Many Canadians prefer quiet weekends, personal hobbies, or family time at home rather than frequent social gatherings. For immigrants used to more active communal life, this cultural difference can feel surprising or lonely. Challenges for families. For families with children, social integration can present unique challenges. Parents may struggle to connect with local parents if they do not speak English or French fluently, while children often adapt faster through school and extracurricular activities. This can create a social gap where children feel integrated but adults feel isolated. Additionally, cultural differences in parenting, education, and communication styles can create tension or confusion, especially when interacting with schools, neighbors, or local authorities. Immigrants must learn local expectations while maintaining their own cultural values, which is a delicate balancing act. Mental health and loneliness. Social adaptation also impacts mental health. Many immigrants report feeling loneliness, homesickness, or mild depression, especially during the first year. Long winters, lack of sunlight in certain provinces, and the effort required to adjust to a new language and culture can contribute to these feelings. Support is available through counseling, community groups, and online networks, but newcomers must proactively seek help. Building even a small social circle, participating in local activities, and maintaining connections with family and friends abroad are essential strategies for mental well-being. Positive experiences. Despite challenges, life in Canada offers unique opportunities for social enrichment. The diversity of communities allows newcomers to meet people from around the world, learn new languages, taste international cuisines, and experience cultural events they might never have encountered at home. Volunteering is another pathway to integration. Many immigrants use volunteer work to meet people, gain Canadian experience, and contribute to their community. Social life in Canada often grows gradually, and the friendships and networks built over time are often strong and lasting. Summary: Canada's culture and social life are a mix of opportunity and challenge. Politeness, multiculturalism, and supportive communities create an environment where integration is possible, but social distance, language barriers, and lifestyle differences can make initial adjustment difficult. Newcomers who actively participate in community life, pursue hobbies, and seek networks of support are more likely to build fulfilling social lives. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for anyone moving to Canada. Social adaptation is not automatic. It requires patience, effort, and a willingness to learn and adjust. For many, the combination of professional opportunities, cultural richness, and gradual social integration ultimately leads to a rewarding life, but the process is as important as the outcome. In the final part of this series, we will explore the realities of climate, mental health, and the myths versus realities of Canada, concluding with advice for anyone considering moving to the country.